E-commerce store owners, is incorrect tracking and customer targeting limiting your revenue? In this video, I'll go over how I fixed these for my client and tripled their scale in less than 6 months.
As you can see from the date ranges of September 10th, January 14th, we increased revenue 11K while scaling 15K more in spend, increasing click-through rate and clicks in this account. And keep in mind, this was all done while stopping a duplicate conversion. So this is more of like a 300% or tripling of the actual revenue of this account, as you can see. So you can go down here and see revenue that was generated. But if we're going to go to essentially the conversion actions, prior there was a duplicate conversion action here that was driving a lot more conversion volume on the account, purchase code, and we also had several of these as well that were set here that was negatively affecting the purchases on this account. So that's the number one thing you have to look at when you're ever doing an audit, is making sure the data is clean and clear and aligns the business goals, because we have several secondary conversion actions which are fine here, but the duplicate purchase action really affected how the account was optimized and scaling. Also, when taking over this account, we noticed a lot of it was scaling through branded traffic. So this is really something a lot of business owners want to avoid, is getting people that are just searching up their brand anyways, especially when there's a lot of competitors in the auction insights. Bidding on branded is usually not the best ROI in the world, just because you're really just re-engaging that traffic. And ROAS at that point isn't as good of an indicator as if you're going for new audiences that aren't branded, that haven't heard of you before. So when we stopped going for branded and we found out instead of going for a mixed ROAS of 300%, we can go for a target cost per acquisition of new customers at 150% ROAS. We were able to scale this account much harder and higher because we got aligned business objectives that wasn't blended, and we knew the exact customers' clients' goals in order to scale here. Once we had the target ROAS set properly, we had the budget increased almost to $10,000 per month from where it was at $2,000. So we were able to scale much more effectively. We started to optimize just for purchases, just in the Google search network, so we're not going on display, search partners, these types of like more spammy type of networks. And also we were testing a lot of different types of ad groups and structures to see what would perform better, updated the ads so that they had a better ad rank, added our promotional discounts into the ad copy that were timely in order to increase click-through rate as we saw in the overall, and constantly A/B tested the search creative. Now that we had a higher and more target ROAS and a higher budget to work with, we could scale outside of where we were before. Another thing we did here, we turned off all the auto-applied recommendations. So this is one thing a lot of businesses will have. Ad responsive search ads, they'll have things that change their negative keyword conflicts. They'll have even worse, things that will add new keywords, change your bid strategy. You definitely don't want these. You want them to be more strategic. If Google's changing these things for you, then you're really not taking control and ownership of the account. So this is very important to do, especially since it's a very search-focused account. We wanted to be able to control any and all changes that were automatically being applied before. Additionally here, we wanted to be able to really make sure that we had the right exclusion lists or negative search terms in this account. So we're always at the campaign or ad group level updating the negative keywords, especially with search. And as we're scaling with more broad match terms, we want to be able to have essentially the best search terms data. And this is by adding exact match negatives if it's a very close term. So we don't want to do it completely broad, or we'll do phrase match if it's a term that's really out of line, or broad match when it's even more a type of term that we really don't want. So continuously adding to this negative keyword list is very large, really helped this account scale. And then outside of that, we had tons of experiments. So for an account that is seeing really good performance with search, you want to be testing different variables. Specifically, we're testing different bid strategies. Now that we had a more open ROAS targets, we went from target CPA
And ultimately increased conversions 142%, decreased cost per conversion by 61%. And also specifically for this client, we wanted to test people that were local versus international. This is a good experiment to have. You want to see what conversion rate will be higher. And this ultimately did have a good conversion rate, but we didn't apply it just because it was not really what we wanted in terms of scale, because we dropped the ROAS target so much lower because we're going for new customer acquisition. We didn't really need as much efficiency as we did before here. Various bidding strategy tests here that just increased overall performance on this account. And then various other things we did. We broke out different service offerings and allocated its own budget to it. And you can see different ROAS targets were on different service offerings. So sometimes as you get more budget, it's good to break out these different things so you can allocate more budget to what has more scalability or better profitability depending on the service or product. And then you want to have a catch-all for all services so that even if this runs at a little of a lower ROAS or has less priority, we have allocated budget and account structure to it. So you're not essentially putting everything together. Furthermore, we tested some like remarketing audiences as well. This didn't perform as well on display. It's worth a retest for how much performance we're getting out of the search budget is limited by. We just wanted to scale and push as much new customer acquisition and not even mess around with retargeting because our budget is better spent on just getting more and more customers through the funnel. And that's how we help scale this account. If you'd like me to personally help you scale your e-commerce store like I did for this client, book a free one-on-one consultation below.